afternoon, one and all. Welcome to our wonderful today's session of Infusionsoft's landing pages on fire. Let me see here, make sure that the system is actually seeing my broadcast. Yep, we're doing good. All right, so we are excited to go ahead and do our usual presentation with Dhruv today. Some great information on landing pages. Every single time we do anything here, he, of course, has some kind of great little nugget of knowledge of information that I have picked up on that even I was not aware of before. Look at that. Jessica, she's the brave one with the webcam on. I love it. You know something? I don't usually do webcam either myself, but you know something? Let's give you a little bit of a, I'm not sure if it's a treat or what. You guys get to see a little bit of a view of us here in the Infusionsoft headquarters. Welcome. Of course, this is me, Rorik. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of, I guess, in person today. Then Jessica's going to be kind of the person that instigates we can actually see some people's faces here. So we are thrilled to have everybody with us here. Look at this. We have 5 attendees already. I hope that you are all strapped in and ready to get some amazing knowledge here. Dhruv always has something great to present to us. So I'm going to go ahead and with little to no further ado, pass the mic over to Dhruv and let him go ahead and amaze us all. So Dhruv, I'll go ahead and make you the presenter now so you can share your screen as you need to. And take it away, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, Rorik. And since Jessica and you guys are sharing, I'll probably try to share my screen too if you guys can see me. Hello, everyone. So what I'll do is I'll switch to presentation mode and I will start sharing my screen. Give me just a moment. My desktop. Let me know when you guys see my screen.
Yep, coming through clearly.
Awesome. And I'll just move all the chats and everything else on one side of the screen and I'll switch to presentation mode. And hello everyone, and welcome Barney, welcome Jessica, Lucy, Sue, Tim, Barbie Lee, welcome everybody. Want to start sharing my presentation. So today's topic, we actually have a special guest, Jessica Likewise. I think I'm spelling that last name properly. But if I don't, please, help me with it, Jessica, when you introduce yourself. But how she generated about 1,500 leads by simply running a Facebook message on her Facebook posts to grow her business. And what things she did, she in fact created a really cool presentation for us that she'll like to share with us. So without further ado, I'll kind of make an introduction of what Jessica is doing. So she is the CEO and founder of Hope Education Services that makes recovery for autism possible for families nationwide. I could be incorrect about the nationwide piece, but I believe it's a nationwide thing that Jessica is doing. So please correct me on that also, Jessica. I guess I had a typo in there. She wanted to use a landing page to drive more lead generation for her program. She would also like to segment customers based on the interest level with a solid campaign strategy. And her goal was to reach out to the customers through organic traffic, Facebook sharing, and email. And we'll kind of learn about what processes she used, how did she, managed to get so many leads from a single landing page or multiple landing pages that she created. So we'll learn quite a bit about that. Before we jump into that, however, I kind of want to share with you guys the Small Business Strategy Guide. So if you are new to Infusionsoft, if you are starting out just about now and watching this webinar just to get acclimated with how Infusionsoft works and how can you use some really cool campaign strategies, there is this URL, and I always forget to short link this URL, but it is sites.google.com/infusionsoft.com/campaign strategy/home. Has really great links and resources. And Jessica corrected me that now she has 1,700 opt-ins, not 1,500, which is even better than what I was expecting. I don't know where I got the number 1500, but I guess it's a run ongoing campaign, so it probably added more. So, which is great. That's awesome. I'm happy, super happy for you that the landing pages are working out for you. But I think others would love to hear from you how you got so many customers and leads, and what you are doing with those leads and everything. And before we jump into that, I do want to educate and kind of make everyone aware that anytime you are running a marketing campaign, whether it's a landing page or running an ad, or whether advertisement on the TV, or wherever you're doing any kind of marketing or sales approach that you're taking, you always want to take this gradual reassurance kind of a process where small yeses make into a large yes, meaning a complete sale of your product in general. When you bring the clarity of what you're selling, when you build the credibility around what you're selling, you automatically build this appeal. And then when you tell them that it's exclusive to you, meaning only you are the person who's selling, this kind of opportunity to your customers, what they need to pay or what they need to do in order to be part of your success, or part of the success, it almost becomes irrelevant when you have the first four items kind of nailed down. One of the examples that I always give is how well Apple does this strategy. Every time you watch their presentations, anytime you watch their ads, it always focuses on how clear their messaging is and how credible it is with other people involved in it, and how appealing their products look. And you can only buy Apple products from Apple, right? You cannot buy it just by, although you can buy it on websites, only seller is Apple. And then, the amounts, usually any Apple product is a lot more expensive than any PC product, but people end up buying, those. Like, nobody buys a Dell MP3 player, but everybody buys an iPod because it's an in thing to do. It's because how Apple creates that urgency around their product. Don't want to beat the drum around, how good Apple does their marketing and why they are the most successful profiting company in the world. But what I want to do instead is go to the next one. So the pro tip for this week is, give multiple reasons to sign up on your call to action. So each call to action should be a different reason for your visitor to buy. And at least find 3 different reasons why they'd want to want your offer, and include that in your call to action. So what I mean by this is, usually when you go on a website or a landing page, you have a same button, right? A button that says submit or get started, right? Like some very generic message on it, click here now, something like that, right? Or buy now. Those are just buttons, and it's very generic. But when you use the hot buttons on 3 reasons, or any reason why they would want to buy. So let's say a customer, and in fact I'll just go along with explaining how. So let's say a customer, you have 3 different types of customers, right? So one person is really interested in the design of the product that you're selling, if it's a physical product. Another person might be interested in the benefit that it has, that one little benefit that may help their child achieve better or something, right? And then another reason why they would want to buy is because it's cost effective. So instead of just saying buy now on your button, you can have 3 different buttons on the same landing page, all of them saying something different. So it says get the best designed product now, right? Something like that would make them want to click on that button. You can have another reason that says, cheapest in the industry, purchase now, limited time offer, something like that, and it makes them want to click on that button and purchase it, rather than just having a buy now button or click here to get started button, right? So try experimenting with different call to actions that resonate with your customer and what their end goal is in their life. this will definitely help. In fact, I might just create another whole segment, a whole webinar explaining a few steps that you can take on your landing page so you do not sound salesy at all, but still be able to get higher conversions. And to go further, I'd actually like to switch to Jessica. Jessica, welcome. And I think, Rourke, I think we may need to have her as our presenter.
Sure thing. Let me go ahead and hop in there 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, Jessica, you are now a presenter. If you look in the upper left-hand corner of your WebEx screen, you'll see a File, Edit, and a Share menu. Just go up to Share and choose My Desktop, and then we'll be able to see your screen. And let me also get you off of mute there so we can all, seeing it is one thing, but we also definitely want to hear what you have to say. Okay, you are now off mute as well, so fire away.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
sure can.
I haven't used WebEx before, so I'm seeing a black screen. Can you see my screen?
I'm seeing a black screen as well. Let's see here. Go back up. Let me grab that screen share back from you. We may have shared. Do you have? Yeah, go up to the share menu right there. Perfect.
Okay.
And then what do you see under share?
I have my desktop file, including video. Maybe I just am not on my desktop.
Yeah, just do.
Let's see if I can. Is there a way to close the?
Yeah, typically share then my desktop will actually resolve it for you. See if that.
Oh, let's try it again. Share in my desktop. I don't know if I'm in a full screen mode with the issue.
I think it is sharing your desktop. But
Yeah, we're seeing your search screen. We're seeing your toolbar.
There we go. Can you see now my?
Yes, that looks
now?
beautiful.
Okay, awesome. So let me present with this. I don't know that I've ever actually had to present on it with a slide.
So on the top right corner, next to
There we
share.
go.
Yeah,
That would
there.
make sense. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you so much, Rourke and Drew, for inviting me onto the call today. It's really an honor to come on and to share a little bit about how Infusionsoft is helping me with my business. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story and really how Infusionsoft allowed me to take my business and really transition from being someone who is self-employed to now being an entrepreneur and creating that passive income and finding new ways to expand my business and expand my reach. So for me, I had an 8-year career. I was very successful as a behavior analyst, and I was working with families with autism, and I loved what I did. I wound up relocating, and I wound up taking an 8-year career. I wound up giving that job up that I was doing really well in. I decided to work as a teacher and to really, at the time, focus on some real estate investment and focus on some other things. And at the time I was in direct sales, I thought it would free up some time. And within 3 months, the classroom didn't get any enrollments, and they lost my job. And I decided in that moment I was never again going to give anyone the power to take my income away. And I decided I was going to be a entrepreneur. So I started my own business and I filed my LLC, and I very, very quickly wound up filling my calendar, replacing that 8-year income. Within 6 months, I had doubled that income, but I was totally sold out. I had absolutely no opportunity for growth. And everyone's looking at me and thinking, wow, that you're really successful and you should be really proud of yourself. But for me, I felt like I was selling myself short, and I felt so unfulfilled because there was absolutely no way to grow. I had raised my prices, but there's only a threshold rate which you can raise your prices that the free market will bear, and I had absolutely still had no way to make money. And I realized that I had not actually transitioned from being a employee to a entrepreneur. I had transitioned from being an employee to someone who's self-employed. So I was still an employee, I was just working for myself. And I decided then to look into ways to expand my reach online. At the same time, I became really keenly aware of the fact that in my field, I work with families with autism, and it's a national business, but it's actually an international business. I have a presence in 131 countries worldwide via my social media handles and via YouTube and some of the training videos and products I've created and disseminated using Infusionsoft. For me, I became very keenly aware that there are people in this world who have no access to services, and there's places in this world where there there's no training in what I do. There's no qualifications. There's no school programs for it. There's no one trained in the specific type of services I deliver. And for me, one of my favorite quotes is if you find out that there's something in the world, someone needs your help, and you're not doing enough. So I decided to use Infusionsoft to help those families and really transition from being self-employed to being a solopreneur and really going into business and expanding what impact I can make in the world. And so far, it's been an amazing journey. I jumped on board with Infusionsoft back in October, and I spent the first couple months really just throwing myself and immersing myself in the technology and learning about the capabilities of what Infusionsoft can do. And in that time, I have not had any ads I put out. I think I had one time Facebook gave me like a $10 credit, and I put out a $10 ad that got absolutely no opt-ins. But I have been able to generate a list of over 1,700 people that organically opted into my landing pages. And I've had the privilege of training with some amazing mentors who really taught me some tips and tricks about how to know who my customer is, about how to know what my customer wants. And I think that's why I've been so successful. And so it's an honor to come and share with someone else who's on this webinar. A lot of times when we're building businesses online, oftentimes we're in the very beginning stages. We're supporting this business by drawing from our traditional jobs or drawing from other businesses that are generating income. And so for me, I want everyone to know if I can do this without any additional resources other than really what I'm paying for my Infusionsoft app, anyone can. So I put together these 10 tips in the next 30 minutes that will make your landing pages actually convert. So that's my little story about why I'm qualified to share with what I'm doing. And I'm going to just go in order. So this is, and would you like me to actually pull up one of my landing pages so you can see it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit of one of my landing pages. This is a landing page. It actually was only up for about 48 hours. It was something I did put together and wound up using for a short period of time for a webinar. I had over 40 people join the webinar and a couple hundred opt-ins without any ads, just by placing it in my Facebook page, my personal profile, and a few Facebook groups where my avatar hangs out. So I'm just going to share a little bit about what this landing page looks like. And I've chosen this landing page because this was the one that I created after I really learned how to make landing pages and also after the landing page builder was out. So this one is really the one you're going to see in the presentation. I've taken snapshots and screenshots out of this landing page. So I'm going to just go through it. I don't use templates when I build landing pages. I like to do everything from scratch. So I like to have control over what the sections look like. So here I just put my logo on top. This is my value proposition. I actually like all of my buttons, they're anchored to sections, so they look like pop-ups. For me, a lot of times what happens is when we're in sales, especially traditional sales, we'll make the sales and then we'll keep talking. So for me, a lot of times people will do that with landing pages. You'll have this amazing value proposition and someone's like, yeah, let's do it. And then you have your button and then they have to scroll down to the form and then you see more information and you're overselling. So for me, if I have that sale, I want to collect that information immediately. So I don't want anyone to get distracted. Because, what's going to happen is maybe they're going to go down here and they're going to get distracted by my video instead of going to the form, Because Infusion, it makes it really easy in landing pages to anchor it to a section. It's a little bit more difficult to, this is actually anchored to a hidden section. So this form is just a hidden section. That's a little bit more difficult, but I think it's really worth it because I don't want someone to scroll down, get anchored to this main form that's in the landing page, and then get distracted, watch the video, and then their child is crying because they want milk, and they forgot all about the fact that they were going to opt into my landing page. So I just want to get that sale done. So that's what I have here. I always create urgency, Drew talked about creating urgency. So obviously this is no longer an active landing page, but this is something where they I have the timer going, so there would be a countdown. And that, again, is creating urgency. It's going to create that sense they have to opt in now. Also, I love just doing something simple, like crossing off the price and saying now it's free. $97, that's the rate I charge if I do a consultation online with someone. So they're going to get an hour of my time on a webinar. It's a value of $97. And don't just make that up. If it's actually worth I know I put the real value of my time there. They go to my website, they see that's how much it costs to hire me. So I make sure that if I'm going to be putting that there, that it's in integrity. I saw someone do that one time, and it's like a $10,000 value now free, and I'm like, okay, well, your webinar is probably not really worth $10,000. But if you say it's worth $100, people will believe that. So this is another really cool feature. So I love using arrows to point to the opt-in. Again, it's just like a visual cue. So I put that in there, and this arrow actually hides on a mobile page. And all of our things are mobilely responsive, right? All of the landing pages. Most people who are using, going into our landing pages, they're actually not using desktop, they're using phone, right? That's how pretty much everyone accesses the internet. So if you look and you scroll over, the arrow disappears. If I get small enough. Whoops. I don't know why I have this picture up. Sorry about that. That's a really old picture. All right, here we go. The arrow is supposed to go away. It should go away. It doesn't show up on a phone. So for some reason it's not scrolling. But we'll move on from that. So I like to put a little bit of credibility about me. There's 2 different videos I've created. One, who I am. Again, all of these, and Drew talked about making sure your buttons are really creating that value. So join the webinar, reserve my seat. I want my superpower. If you watch the video, it makes sense. I have my validation. I have my testimonials. This is an error I didn't bother to fix because I'm not using this landing page with the text, but and I'll explain why some of the sections look like this. Claim my free seat now. And again, everything is anchored to sections. I am going to just throw my email in there, and I'm going to show you what the thank you page looks like, because I think oftentimes people fail to realize that there's a huge opportunity to capitalize on a thank you page. A lot of times people just say like, hey, thank you for signing up, and you're going to get an email. This is an amazing way in your thank you page to send people to other places where they can get more information and to continue that conversation. It's also a really great way to collect referrals. Now, I've actually created an internal form, and I've created customized fields so that way people could actually refer friends into to join the webinar. And then their friend, it creates a custom field in their email, and it will send their friend an email inviting them to the webinar. It doesn't obviously enroll their friend or opt their friend into my list because we can't do that, but it'll just send their friend an email saying, hey, your friend has thought you would love this webinar. She signed up for it. I have also given a prize away, and in my course I sell for $500, so it is going to be free if they have a chance to win it for free if they refer a friend. So I had a lot of people referred people to the webinars. So if you click on that, it pops up. This is, again, all of these are just actually going to create custom fields. So they can submit up to 3 friends, get up to 3 entries for that contest, and then those are just customized fields, and then there's in my Infusionsoft that's connected to a campaign that'll send out those referral emails. Again, I'm putting more videos. Don't want to wait for the webinar. I provide free ebooks that I'm saying, hey, get extra credit for a class. Take me to your website, and they can get even more free content from my website. It's connected to my YouTube. And once they get to my website, then I'm sending them somewhere else in my social media. So there's a really huge opportunity to use the thank you page to gather more information and continue a conversation. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Now you saw my landing page, and now that you saw my landing page, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that I used within that landing page in order to make it so successful. So any questions? I can't see the chat, so if anyone has a question, you can just interrupt me. We're good? Okay. All right, so I'm just going to continue that. So this is, I kind of have a countdown, so we're going to go from 10 all the way to 1. So the 10 is something we're going to count down and start off with some really basic and really simple things you can do. And when we get down to 1, we're going to get into like the meats and bones of really how you're going to get, once you have the landing page put together, you're going to get it out there and make sure that the people that you want to see your landing page and the people who want to buy your products, make sure that they actually wind up seeing it. Because that's really the bottom line. If you have a product that's valuable, and you have a service that's valuable, if there's a need for it, and it's a great product, it's just about getting it in front of the right people. So one of the tips and tricks I use is to never use black font. So if you look at my landing page, it's not really apparent right away that it's not a black font, but it's not. It's a really dark gray font. It's just simply easier to read. And if you looked at the training initially, you probably didn't notice. This is a picture of my landing page. You see it's the webinar overview, the date. None of that font is black. Now, Until you see it next to each other, you may not realize the difference, but see how much more difficult this is to read. There's the black font, look at the gray font. It's just a little softer, it's just a little easier to read. People are going to be skimming things on the go. The easier you make it for them, the more pleasurable you make the interaction with the landing page, the more likely they're going to stay on the page. So especially if you have a lot of text, like I did on my landing page, because I have to really use that text to build the credibility, because I'm an autism professional, right? There's so many people who are snake oil salesmen in my field. I have to explain why I'm different and why I'm going to be able to help them. I have to have text to do that. I want to make that text really simple for people to read. So that's number 10. Number 9, use color to capture attention. This is another really, really easy thing that you can do. I mean, any great website is using color in order to just separate sections and make sure people can read it. So it just happens, it's orange, just interruption. So anytime people are scrolling, you need that interruption, right? It's why when people are speaking, they'll make jokes or they'll do power moves, or all of a sudden, they're going to, a lot of major speakers like Tony Robbins will swear, right, to get your attention. It's just breaking that pattern and interrupting. So color can do that really, really easily for almost anyone. And people are typically very visual, so their eyes immediately go towards the color. So whatever's the most important words you want them to focus on, then you will put those words in a different color. Once they're bring their attention there, if they think it's important and relevant, they'll continue reading it. So we have number 8, alternate sections for seamless transitions. Now I said again, I love to make my landing pages from scratch. And if you do that, there's really cool ways that you can go within landing pages. You can change the sizes of sections and do something like this. Now, lists are really great, right? Everybody loves lists. They're a great way to make your page and to relay information. But again, as someone is scrolling, people are visual. You need to interrupt patterns because you don't have a lot of time to capture attention. You can see here I have different color lines. Again, I'm highlighting the most important parts. Forever grateful for Jessica, happy to say, love them. She's compassionate, passionate, genuine love, right? I'm bringing attention to those important things, but it's also alternating. So it's not something that they're just going to scroll through and they're gonna stop and look and, oh, wait, what's going on? It's just another way to capture attention. It works really well, and it's not really that difficult to do that on landing pages. It's just simply all you're doing is you're resizing text. The other reason why this is really helpful, it helps for the optimization of the mobile pages. So if you're just doing a list, the way that the landing pages is going to stack it is actually going to be, the order is going to be out. So you're going to see the picture, and then you're going to see the text, and then you're going to see the text and picture. So this actually will make it so it stacks nicely on a mobile page when you're simply alternating the sections. There we go. So 7, I put the embrace Domino's Pizza. Now I am vegan and gluten-free, so I don't eat Domino's Pizza, but I love their marketing strategies. So what Domino's Pizza did so well, and a lot of you probably remember, they had the 30 hot fresh pizza in 30 minutes or it's free. So that became a really huge marketing strategy. I mean, it probably was beforehand, but they did a phenomenal job of capitalizing on that marketing strategy. And they said, what they did is they created a value, hot fresh pizza, 30 minutes, right? They ran those ads while moms were busy and getting ready to make dinner, and they neutralized the objections, or it's free. So I did the same thing with my landing page, 5 strategies to increase your child's language. That's my value in 30 minutes, and they actually work. And I use the same strategy. If you look back at the title in this presentation I'm doing now, I use the same strategy to capture your attention in the beginning. It's really, really subtle. It's not super overt. No one's going to feel like you're selling to them, but it will capture people's attention, and it will create that value proposition, which will make people want to opt into your campaign. So if I would you, so this is one of my favorite techniques in NLP. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's one of the best ways to communicate in business with your customer because it really focuses on creating a sense of value for them, identifying what their needs are, and also requiring them to respond in a way that they're giving you something and they don't feel like they're being sold to. So I put here, imagine, and again, that's a visual word, and most people are visual. So I'm bringing this into a sensory stimulation for them. I'm creating this experience for them. Imagine your child was able to tell you when they were hungry, what toy they wanted to play with, why they were so upset, right? And those are three things that parents have a really difficult time with. I researched that. I didn't just make those three things up. I did a lot, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we get further in this list. I spent a lot of time figuring out what are the most important things that my families really want help with, and those are the things that my families really want help with. So what if I were to tell you there are 5 simple things you can do to make this possible without changing any of your family's routines? Would you give me 30 minutes of your time? Right? Who would say no to that? Right? If there's parents that are pulling their car out and they're staying awake every day and every night, wondering, oh my goodness, how am I going to just I can't even feed my kids dinner because I make chicken nuggets, the chicken nuggets go on the floor, they want pizza, and they make pizza, they wanted the chicken nuggets, and they have no idea what to do. Well, what if I could show you? What if I could show you something really, really simple that's not going to cause you a lot of stress? Wouldn't you listen? Who's going to say no? Especially I'm not asking for any money right now, right? So I'm just plain offering value. So that again is encouraging people. And this section here in my landing page, there's an arrow for the would you, and you saw the arrow. It points to the opt-in form. So just kind of, again, cues them, just quickly go to that form and type in your information. There's that countdown timer. There's that price crossed off. So it's creating a ton of urgency, and it's creating a ton of value for my customers. That's why I was able to put this on my Facebook page, and within minutes, people were just opting into it. So keep the opt-in above the fold. I already kind of discussed this. I like to put my opt-ins up on the top. People don't have a lot of time, especially, my avatar, my customers specifically. My customer are busy moms. They don't have, their kids are constantly pulling at them. Anytime someone's scrolling, you're taking a chance of losing them. So I make sure that the proposition's right there. I talked about the benefit of anchoring it to a hidden section, so that way they can just click it and it looks like a pop-up and it just comes up. They fill the information in right away. I think that's really, really crucial. I think that's had a huge, huge benefit and really increased my conversion significantly. So and I know Dhruv has a training on that. Actually, he helped me to use his training to do that for this landing page. So that's something on his YouTube channel, which if you are not subscribed to his YouTube channel, you should head over and do that. I'm sure he can put in the chat what the name of it is. So for build credibility, for me, and I talked about this, there's a lot of people who can sell, people who sell things online. And for us, it's about why we stand apart. There's a lot of major retailers. I mean, look at Amazon, LinkedIn, they're buying out other companies just to eliminate competition, right? So in that world where we're trying to have this barrier of entry where we want to compete, it's really about what makes us different. And especially for me, again, in my field, everyone wants to sell, parents with autism, kids with autism, and you have a captive and very vulnerable audience, and a lot of people take advantage. So people are really looking for that genuine why you can help, why you're different. And people want to know that if they go to you, they're going to get a service they're not going to get from someone else. Because other than that, I mean, the major retailers are going to take over. So what sets us apart as small business owners who are creating this content online and creating this value online is really why we're going to offer families more than they can get from just going to a major retailer. So for me, this is really critical. I like to make sure that I have something for visual people. I have something for someone who's kinesthetic, right? Someone who likes to interact. They can watch that video. The video is also auditory. So I make sure that for all of my customers, no matter what their communication style is, no matter how they learn, that there's something for them on this page. And again, I'm creating that value. But it's also not like the Jessica Likewise show. If you go to my landing page, it's not all about me, it's all about my customer. And I'm just explaining why I'm going to support my customer. And if you go to it, and it's the Autism Hero Academy is the landing page, you can watch these videos. Even in these videos, I'm not the hero and I'm not the star of this landing page. My customer's the star, and I'm just the one supporting my customer to be really successful. So when you're building credibility, it's really important to make sure your customer is still the most important one, because your customer really cares about themselves. They really don't care about you or who you are or what you've done. They just want to know that you can help them. So the third is use testimonials. Again, this really goes for it. Now, most people today, they buy from testimonials. If you're buying from Amazon, for me, I just bought new headphones and I was like, hey, which one has good reviews? People buy from reviews. So using testimonials is a great way to build credibility. And it also is a way to, and if you look here, I have And on my actual website, I have a little information on my bio, a little bit bio of who these people are. But I have a mom. She's a mom. She actually says grandma underneath her. But I also have people, and I'm very intentional about making sure I'm posting people who look different. When people go to this site, they see someone who looks like them, they see another mom, it also kind of really makes them realize that they're just like the people that I helped, so I can help them too. So, and again, like all these other strategies, we talked about the alternating sections, using colors, creating the value, highlighting important words, capturing attention. Everything's built into every section. So to create value, right, I must have said that probably 100 times. It's just so important. There's value everywhere. There's value, and I just highlighted just a few examples of this landing page. There's value in the title. There's value in the videos. There's value in my sales pitch, my value proposition. There's value in my headings, what parents just like you are saying about us. Why say testimonials? Testimonials, that's not going to, you have every word on your landing page, every section is an opportunity to create value. So here, what parents just like you, again, it's kind of drawing that assimilation, that they're the same, right, as the people I'm helping. So every section, every title, every heading, you have to pay careful attention to what you're writing. It's not just something generic. Never on my landing pages will it say submit, enter, join, buy. It's always some sort of word that's creating a value, and association, that's the word I was looking for. Creating association with my potential customer with the people I'm already helping. So once you do that, like, what's the most important thing? And for me, that's really to know your avatar and know who your customer is. And I'm just going to jump back on WebEx so I can see everybody again. But for me, maybe not. So we'll just leave it up. I don't want to take from, well, here we are. I don't want to take attention away. But the most important thing, right, is really getting your landing page in front of your customer. And in order to do that, you have to get really, really clear on who your customer is. That's something a step a lot of people skip. So, what happens is, right, we join Infusionsoft, we get really, really excited, and we want to start playing with our technology. So we start learning how to create landing pages, and we might come up with a really, really cool page, and it might look really awesome, and then we put it out there, and we put all this time and effort into it. Maybe we've hired someone to help us do it, and then we don't get any sales. And so the first thing we do is, this just doesn't work. There's something wrong with Infusionsoft. There's something wrong with me. I just don't have the right product. Well, the bottom line is you probably didn't know who your customer is. This is always something that you start with. You lead with knowing who your customer is. Once you do that, if people say if you build it, they will come, it's not really true. You don't build something and people are just going to come to it. You find out what people want and need, and then you serve them with what they want and need. And that's the most important thing. So for me, I can't even tell you, I was learning how to use Infusionsoft, but I spent the majority of my time, hours every day, in Facebook groups with talking to parents, literally just going to schools, going to parent groups, talking to them, saying, hey, listen. And I asked them, I'm like, what keeps you up at night? What are you most concerned about? What are you most worried about? How can I best serve you? If I were to create videos, what videos would you want to see? If I were to write an ebook and give it to you for free, what topic would you want me to write? And I asked everybody. I probably spoke to hundreds of people. And in doing that, I found patterns, and I figured out, okay, this is who my customer is. And just by going out to look for them and talk to them, I also figured out where they were. And for me, I initially didn't know who my customer was. I was creating videos before I joined Infusionsoft, and they were doing actually really well. Like I said, right now they're in 131 countries. That number was still at about 100. And, for me, the videos, they were doing well. But in the same sense, I had a misconception of who my customer was. If you would have asked me before I went on that search to find my perfect avatar, who my customer was, I had the ages wrong. I said, Mo, my customer's 45 through 55, because I'm 32 and I don't have kids. So to me, people that are older than me have kids, right? Well, that wasn't really true. It turns out my avatar really is 25 to 35. So I would have totally done my branding wrong. For me, I had not taken into account that there's a certain level of education that my avatar really usually has in order to be looking for online education courses, which is really how I'm monetizing my business. There's a certain demographic of where they're living. And for me, and I really had to get clear on that. So if I would have just made a landing page and just thrown anything out there, then it would have not converted. I am very comfortable with video. I love video. If I turned around my camera, which I won't, but I have my lights out, I have my camera, I would have probably done something like that. But that's not really what my avatar wants. I'm busy moms, and they don't want a ton of information. I'm very verbose in my writing often, so I would have written a really long book and thought it was really great because I'm giving 100 pages away for free. Like the ebook that I gave out, one of them was downloaded over 1,000 times, and it's literally 2 pages. I made it in Google Docs. And that's what my parents want. I realized, okay, my parents don't have time for all this reading and all this information. So once I figured out who my customer was, it was really, really easy to serve them. And then just when you're interacting with your customer, because a lot of times people ask me, well, how is it you're getting opt-ins on Facebook? There's a few strategies I use that are really kind of cool, and I'll share what they are. The number one thing is add value, because people ask me all the time, well, if I were to post into a Facebook group and I were to try and sell my product, people would throw me out because they don't want to be sold to. How is it you're posting in groups and no one's complaining about it? Well, the bottom line is if you're adding value, no one's ever going to complain. No one's going to complain about a professional who's coming in a group to serve and add value. People are going to complain if you're coming in the group and it's all about you and your pitch is buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. And my sales pitch is never buy from me. My sales pitch is how can I help and serve you? And everyone's responsive to that because no one's ever going to, I've never had anyone complain about the fact that I was posting my opt-in forms in a group, and they get shared all the time. Another thing I've done, which is really cool, I actually had from one post, I had over 200 people opt in from one post in a Facebook group. And what I did was I actually didn't put the landing page. I actually said, hey, my name is Jessica, and I'm an autism expert, and I put together this free resource, and I would love to share it with you. If you're interested, just comment your email. And what did that do? Well, every time someone commented on the post, it actually wound up bumping it up and bumping it up and bumping it up. So people put their email. I had their permission, and I did actually say in the post, I'll send you the ebooks and I'll add you to my weekly newsletter. So it was clear in the post that they were opting into an email list. And people commented, and I had like 200 people comment. And then once I added them in, I responded in saying, great, I just added you in, your email's on your way, and it got bumped up again. And not only that, but Facebook was like, wow, this person's really relevant because everyone's commenting on her stuff. So since everyone was commenting on my stuff, Facebook was showing my posts. It was making my post to be a really high priority in people's newsfeed. And then again, people are opting in and opting in and opting in. And that's how now I've had about 1,700 organic opt-ins. I've never put out or paid for a Facebook ad. And I'm growing my business. I actually could probably be getting more opt-ins, but right now I'm focusing on product development rather than opt-ins. But, for me, I know that there's an endless supply of people people who need the services that I have. And I know where to find them. I know what they're looking for. And I know that there's never going to run out, never going to run out of people who want and need my services and products. So I really hope that helps. Anyone who's on here thinking, you have the number one slogan that we all hear, and I think the number one thing that scares people from getting into business online is you need to have money to make money. That's not really true. You need to love people and you need to create value to make money online. So that's how you can do that with landing pages and some simple things you can do to make sure it's really easy for your customer to want to be on your page and want to opt in. So if anyone has any questions, otherwise I think that's all I have for today.
Awesome. I think I still remember, and thank you very much for presenting this and putting this whole slide deck together.
No,
what I'd like to do is, Rorik, if I can take the control back to share my screen again. While you were expressing your presentation, I in fact added a few more things on my presentation deck. So obviously here's the link, here's the presentation that you had. I had it set up on my side. But what I also ended up doing, and I still remember, Jessica, when you were first working on this landing page, and I was, I'll keep this open for people to check out your website and your information. But I still remember it was evening time. I was about to, closed the chat and I got the message from you, and then I think we ended up jumping on a screen share for about over an hour.
Yeah.
And I was kind of explaining it to you, and I'm so happy and glad that you actually took those, little tips here and there in practice, and it really showed. And I think more than anything, it's the way you created the posts on your Facebook that really generated, the number of leads and number of opt-ins that you really wanted. And I can't even believe how, 1,700, opt-ins. That's insane, just by not even running an ad, not spending a single penny on advertisement. So super proud of you and super proud of what you're doing. In the chat, I did share with you guys a link to the video that shows how to create a pop-up builder with a countdown timer that Jessica used on her landing page. So in case if you guys are interested on adding that same countdown timer or same pop-up on your landing page to build urgency, feel free to check that out. The second thing that Jessica mentioned, and that was the number one thing that she mentioned, is knowing your audience. So in, I think, my third webinar, we discussed, buyer persona very thoroughly. Here's the link to it. It's cnvrt.it/buyer-persona. Once you go to this, you will end up at, this right here. And I think Lucy just said thank you. And I'll paste the link in the chat also in case if anybody is interested. But I have this free worksheet that you guys can use at your peril to create that ideal customer, your ideal avatar for your business. And in my webinar, I kind of discussed how you can find the low-hanging fruits and the big ballers, and what the difference between the two is. Big ballers are the ones who would spend a lot of money with you, and then the low-hanging fruits are the ones that would spend some money, but they cannot afford spending a lot of money with you. So for example, you can sell an ebook for $10 to low-hanging fruits, and you can sell consulting services to big ballers who can actually afford your services for a few months and are willing to go the distance. But people who are not ready to make that big move, whether it's financial, whether it's building that trust, whether it's just trying out, those are your low-hanging fruit personas. And I would recommend use this sheet, make a copy of it. You can go to File and you can make a copy of it to define your own personas. So, and I would recommend at least create 3 personas in low-hanging fruits, who your low-hanging fruits are and who your big ballers are. And if the term is not, you find those terms offensive, you can more than welcome to change them to whatever you want. Another small thing that I want to share with you guys is this thing. Give me just a moment. I'm just switching my screen about. Is this idea of diffusion of innovation theory, where any product, any service, any business idea that you have, any marketing idea you have, you will always run into these 5 segments of customers, right? The innovators, meaning people who always like to be on the edge of that particular innovation. It doesn't have to be technology related. It could be something about health. It could be about somebody's leg hurting or something, right? And they know everything and they want to know everything about that piece. So those are what you call the innovators and the early adopters. That makes up about 15% of your market that you can reach out to. So that is a one persona that you can identify, that these are the people who will immediately, anything I show it to them, they would immediately jump on this offer. Then you have early majority. So the early majority people are the ones who don't adapt to what you are selling, whether it's a product or service, unless they have seen some success by others, like a small grassroots of people that have not had success. And once the early majority, that's the biggest market. And once you make that pivot from early adopters to early majority, that's when you really start seeing some success in your business. So this is more of an advice, not just for landing page or landing page conversion, but just in business and marketing and sales in general. that you want to create that pivoting point where early adopters start loving what you're doing, and then move towards the early majority, and then late majority almost automatically follows, just because monkey see monkey do kind of a opportunity over here, that this guy is getting good success by wearing these shoes. I want to wear those and try those out, and then I'll decide it on my own, right? So those are the late majority kind of your customer segments. And then the last 16% of your market that's hard to kind of break into are the laggards, meaning these people are the ones who won't even switch to a smartphone unless all the rotary phones are out of business, right? So they will hang on to that one reason why they want to keep that same car or keep wearing the same pair of clothes or something, because they are completely torn off or something, right? So those are called the laggards. And once you adapt to your customers' needs and everything, once you build a persona, and in my persona list over here, I have about 12 or 11, or actually 11 categories where you can identify who their background, what their background is, what their demographics are, what are their identifiers. And this is something that I saw Jessica use really well, that not single moms, but moms that are in a rush, like they want information now and don't want, so she adapted that in her page and made the page shorter and brought the videos below the fold and brought the call to action above the fold, what have you. Now, what are their primary goals? What are the biggest challenges that they have? What can you do as your product or service can do to help them achieve the goal that they have that you wrote out over here? What are some of the real quotes that they have, right? So something that Jessica mentioned in her testimonials, these are the real frustrations that people verbalize, either to their significant others, to their friends, to their family. And once you find out these real quotes, you want to use them to build your credibility, right? And then what are their common objections? So are they worried about spending too much money? Are they worried about, and one of the things that Jessica did to address the objection was like a cost of consulting is $97, but she made it available for free. And so biggest objection people may have to enter information is, I have to spend money with you. No, you don't. You are just getting this information for free, right? And then you can, with that information that you have, you can organize a really nice marketing message, right? You can really create like an elevator pitch. And one of the bonus things that I added is, where do they get their daily vitamins? Jessica found her daily vitamins, or found out that her, target market hangs out on Facebook, right? And she created that post to grab their interest and everything. So once you understand where your crowd hangs out, it's a lot easier to get to your crowd and having that conversation, that first conversation, and building up from there. And how she expressed, Facebook even trusting your post because how you are building interest and how you're building the post. And I think just from one single post, she mentioned that she got 200 opt-ins. That's insane. Like, I've never seen that personally. I've never ran a campaign on Facebook, or I just don't use Facebook in general. But that's amazing. That just like running one post and getting that much attention from that target market. That's amazing. So much props to you, Jessica, for achieving that. Again, if you guys want to visit her website, it is hopeeducationservices.com. And for our future webinars, I would love to, I don't know what this is, do not link. No. Yeah, okay. For our future webinars, we would always love to hear from you in the chat, or through email or through chat on the landing page builder. What would you like to see next? Would you like to see more best conversion practices, something that Jessica shared with us today? Would you like to get your landing page reviewed before you publish out to the public? Would you like expert opinions on that? Or would you like live help inside the landing page builder, right? So anytime you have any questions, feel free to use this. I would also like to take an opportunity while I have you guys in here. We added a few new features. It's not really features, it's just updates in the landing page. that if you have a form on your landing page, so I'll just drag out a blank landing page, and I'll drag out a form. So a lot of people were having this issue where you added a drop down on your landing page, right? So let's see, I have this marketing source kind of a thing. A lot of people, whenever they created like these options, the first item always showed something that was getting collected in their marketing inside their CRM. So we defaulted it out to have it say choose an option, which is a default term, so that people don't end up selecting this. If they select this, it marks it off as it's not filled out yet. So if you have it required, it will raise a red flag and it won't submit the form. So it's a small little feature that people were requesting, so we added that. And another small little feature that we did add was in the address fields. If you're adding any sort of address, now you can sort out not only what type of address fields you want, so whether city, state, zip code, whatever you are looking for, but you can also default out the countries. So a lot of international clients, they did not want to see United States as the first option in the list of countries, right? So if they pick, like, let's say if they want to pick Belgium, for example, that is the default field that would show up first. So it makes it easy for the end consumer to be able to, pick those. In the list of provinces, we also have a lot of provinces based on the country that you selected. And you can type in the information. I think you can. I guess this drop down is not where you can just type in, but you would be able to pick out the province based on the country that you picked in the drop down. So you can also do small things like that and update the address field based on that. So those are the small two updates that we added inside the landing page builder. Hopefully you guys find it useful. If you run into any question at any time, please feel free to use the help button, and either me or Kaveen, we are always available to respond to your questions. Not when I'm doing the webinars, but other times I'm always available to respond. And if I cannot help through chat, I usually try to jump on a screen share and try to help you as quick as possible. And just seeing how much of success Jessica earned, it made my time worth that. Even though it was off hours, I decided to jump and help Jessica with her landing page, and seeing her getting so much success from it, that's what makes me happy. That's what makes my night at night. That's where my passion belongs, is making sure that if somebody's using the product that's built the way it's supposed to be built, it better help them. In fact, before releasing the product, we had to validate it with 30 to 40 customers to make sure that it's simple enough for them to use. Although we are striving to make it even simpler, even better, even more intuitive, feel free to try it out and give us any kind of feedback that you have, and we'd be happy to work on those and help you guys get to what you guys want, what success looks like for you guys in your business. So thank you very much. And now, Rorik, you have any final words before we close off?
Hang on. There we go. My mic was up too high. I always have plenty of words, but nothing that I can really feel that I can add on that is a lot more value than what you've already shared. So, nope, you did a wonderful job.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone who attended. Thank you, Jessica, very much. If anybody's interested in anything from Jessica, feel free to message us in the chat. We'd be more than happy to help.
Awesome. And as a quick note also for everybody, next Wednesday, we usually love being here for all of the amazing landing page goodness, but we're going to plan on hopefully having everybody have some fun and safe firework displays next Wednesday on the 4th of July. So the office will be closed, so we're going to have a 1 week kind of breather, but we'll be, of course, back the week after that. So we look forward to seeing you all again in 2 weeks. Keep those questions coming. Reach out to Drew or myself with any kind of questions at all, and we will see you same bat time, same bat channel in 2 weeks.
Awesome. See you guys. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.